Home. This house is filled with love and intention in every corner. I feel so incredibly safe within these walls. I've always been worthy of this. I'm eternally grateful to experience so much love, peace, and safety. When I look around, all I see are pure blessings, miracles that have aligned perfectly one after the other, bringing me this blissful moment. Ultimately, I believe you will not feel at home anywhere if you do not feel at home with yourself, within yourself.
Do you like my hat? I knitted it myself.
So that's what we're gonna be talking about today. How to create a home within yourself that you can return to and feel safe in. I have, again, my beautiful cup of tea here. It's, I don't know if it shows up on camera, the steam. The small things in life. The mundane magic. We love her. Also mundane magic, I'm knitting a whole sweater for my partner. It's their turn now to be decked out in softness. And look at this. It's gold and sparkly. It's perfect. I love it. Enough lighthearted introduction now. Let's get into it. Let's get into the nitty-gritty. Nitty-gritty. Alright, home hasn't always felt like home. Sure, I had a roof over my head, but very rarely did I feel safe in the house that I grew up in. Even when I would remove myself from situations and people that would actively cause me pain or fear, I would return to my room and feel none the safer. The very place that should have given me safety did not give me a break. I would just sit there anxious, restless, unresolved, and crying, and the metaphorical walls of my home would crumble around me and mat my hair. And I kept wondering why year after year the seeds and the bulbs that I was trying to plant never took root. I was apparently completely blind to the fact that there was only barren soil, and that barren soil was completely overgrown with weeds. Nobody had done the gardening basically since I was 0 years old. A wee lad, little baby. Somehow I was completely blind to the state that my inner garden was in. All barren soil and overgrown weeds, the harmful beliefs and patterns that I've been taught multiplying over the years and choking out any possibility of a nice little tomato or cucumber to grow. I hope you get what I'm trying to get across here with this metaphor. And I was shivering within the four walls of my little cottage when they should have given me shelter. And it wasn't until I made a conscious effort to make my inner landscape habitable, a place that I would actually choose to go to and want to reside in, that I started feeling confident in facing situations and people outside of myself. If you're already busy trying to survive within yourself, how are you supposed to be able to face people outside of yourself? So how can we get there? For me, a combination of practices has helped a lot. One of them is a meditation, specifically an exercise that allows you to create a fantasy of a place that you feel wholly comfortable and safe in. And now I know that meditations do not appeal to everybody from the get-go. I myself was very skeptical of them in the beginning. I admit it sounds very woo-woo and very new age spirituality, and while I do subscribe to these things now in some aspects, I know that it can sort of make people shy away from a practice that could potentially really help them. It's allowed to feel silly, it's allowed to feel weird and unknown. All it really is using the creative power of your brain to create a fantasy, any sort of place that you might feel comfortable in. It can be a beach house you visited when you were younger. It could be a grove in the forest. It could be underneath your table. Really anything. Anywhere you could see yourself feeling completely safe. A blanket fort. Why not make it a blanket fort? Whatever you want it to be. And for you to remind yourself to return to that place and return to the feeling of that place, most importantly. I was taught this in therapy by my actual therapist, so I do think it has some clinical validity. And having been the guinea pig, I can say that returning to this exercise in times of distress has helped me feel more at ease with myself, because often I would feel scared of being alone because of how loud and scary my mind can be. And knowing that I had the power to create a space where I did not have to be scared, where everything around me could still be scary, but within myself I could feel more centered, that has really, really helped. If you're one of the skeptical people people, I would ask you to maybe keep an open mind as much as you can and try it out. It's not going to magically change the way you feel about yourself after doing it once, so I would ask you to repeat it a few times and to return to that space and just see if it has any sort of impact on you, and maybe it can help you feel a little more supported within and without. Think of this exercise as a spin on the My Perfect Day exercise. I'm sure you've heard of it if you like my videos. We might be in the same sphere of self-development and such on YouTube. And that exercise asks you to think of a perfect day in your life. Where are you? What clothes are you wearing? What can you see? What can you smell? What can you hear? And to really get into the details about your experience and to feel into it. And once you have that feeling of what a perfect day could feel like, you are then asked to see, okay, what can I do in my current life now that it doesn't completely align with this vision yet? What can I invite into my day-to-day life now to get me to experience that feeling more? So in that case, for example, if in your perfect day in your life, you would like to go to the forest every day and hug a few trees, you can make it your mission to maybe find a park that you can visit once a week if greenery is not really accessible. Or if you notice, oh, in my perfect vision, I would actually be baking every Sunday, and you are not baking at all, then maybe you can add some joy into your life by inviting some friends over to make a cake. The meditation I'm specifically referring to reminded me of this, and it's the My Safe Inner Space exercise. I'm sure it already exists as a guided meditation out there. If you're interested, I could also create one, so let me know in the comments if you'd like me to narrate. I have here my journal that's just, I use it too often so it doesn't have dust on it, but let's just pretend for the visual that it does. I have to give this journal some love. Can we talk about how gorgeous it is? First of all, it's huge. It's an actual tome. It looks absolutely gorgeous. It has these clasps here. Ugh. Love. Yeah, I, as the former teacher pet that I am, I combined these two exercises, these two meditations, and also basically made a vision board while I was at it. I would say use your own images if you can, or also go on to Pinterest and just see what kind of images align with the feeling of safety, comfort, joy, whatever you're trying to find, and create pages. Having a little show and tell here with my internet buddies. Yeah, it was important to me to have this in the back of my journal because I use it every day anyway, and it's important to have regular reminders of it. You could also have a necklace that reminds you of it. I myself also have a hand sign. I'm obsessed with triangles, so I use Illuminati sign to remind myself of the place. You can also see it here in case you haven't already noticed. Yeah, in the words of Alt J, triangles are my favorite shape. I specifically have 4 pages, I had to count in my head real quick, 4 pages about home and others about my friendships, these are over here, and a different one about who I would like myself to be, how I would like to show up in the world. So you can really write about anything. You have a lot of creative freedom. Maybe use it to be kind to yourself sometimes instead of just destroying yourself all the time. That's what I used to do and what I try to do less of. So to summarize, try and create a space that you feel wholly comfortable and safe in. Make it so that you are reminded of this place at a regular basis. Maybe have it in your journal as a vision board. Maybe just create a vision board. Or if it's only a fantasy thing and you don't like journaling, maybe create a hand gesture that reminds you of it. Anything so that you have regular access to it, so that you can more easily access it when you're in distress, because usually when we're in distress it's even harder to do the nice things. It's easy enough to say now that I'm feeling level, oh yeah, I can definitely easily do this nice thing for myself, but as soon as I am not regulated, it is a lot harder to do nice things. So the more you do it in your day-to-day when you're not actively suffering, the easier it's going to be to do the nice thing when you are. Along with this practice, we need to do everything we can to keep our mental space safe and tidy. And this isn't just a one-time restoration, this is an ongoing project. What do we think of the vacuuming fit? So, when we think about the physical spaces we occupy, it's easier to see what needs to get done, I think, because you can see the lint on the floor, the hair balls that your cat or your human coughed up. And I think it's good to think of our inner space in a similar way. What are some signs that your inner space needs cleaning, needs cleansing? So what helps you clear the dust? Journaling regularly keeps me sane. My mind can get very loud very quickly, and writing out everything stream of consciousness style every morning helps put things into perspective. I can also go back to it and reread it again to see the kind of insanity that my brain is spewing and just kind of level it out. It's really easy to just get lost in my own head when the thoughts are just kind of a swirling mess, and being able to just brain dump it all onto the page really helps me. If I need a little pick-me-up, there's also the option of brain dumping everything, and if I have any questions or any returning issues that I can see, I can then reply as the kindest version of myself, the way that maybe I would talk to a friend if a friend came to me and asked for my advice. I started this exercise differently because in the beginning I would genuinely have a gagging reflex thinking about being kind to myself. It was awful. Every time I would say something nice about myself, I would go, it was bad. So my therapist then said, okay, how about an alternative? You can think of a character from a show, a movie, a book, any single character that would be kind to you, that would genuinely only want the best for you. How would they talk to you in this situation? And then you can make it a silly little thing. It also helps make it less serious if you have to sort of role play as a character and see yourself from a completely different perspective. It helps a lot. A different thing that helps is yoga and daily walks if I have latent energy that I haven't otherwise let go of throughout the day. With alexithymia, a condition that makes it somewhat hard to understand what is going on in my body, sensation-wise, emotionally, physically, mentally, it's easy to get into my head about what it is that I am feeling. And I really need to learn that sometimes it's really not that deep. It may feel horrendous. I don't know what's going on with my belly. Oh God, what's happening? Am I anxious? Oh, I'll definitely find 10 different things to be anxious about right now, but maybe you just need food. Amazing! A girl invents food. Girl discovers sustenance. But yeah, sometimes it's really not that deep. Sometimes I just can't tell what my body is telling me and I take it for something else completely and then make an issue exist that never existed in the first place. So sometimes I really just need to take myself out for a run like a little dog. I got a dog in me. And maybe not everything is that deep. Maybe sometimes just guessing and doing something is better than spiraling and ruminating on your feelings forever. Another non-negotiable for me is creating anything really. Art journaling, pottery, drawing, painting, knitting, whatever it is, I need to create something every day. It's just something that brings me a lot of joy. It's something that connects me with myself a lot. And I notice that the zest for life kind of fades when I do not actively take the time to do these things. For me especially, it's music. I need to practice an instrument every single day and sing. I need to use my voice in this positive way at least once. I started thinking of these self-care practices as vital prescribed medicine. Things that I really need to do every single day to live. This little mindset shift, if you will, has really helped me treat them with the kind of priority that they are and with the importance that they deserve. A little hydration break. When was the last time you've drank something, huh? You're not ascending into godhood. You're just dehydrated. Drink something. Remember, kids, hydrate or die straight. We don't want the latter bit. The frogs didn't do all that work for nothing. What does removing the weeds mean to you? Removing the weeds calls for identifying the harmful patterns and beliefs that I have been taught that once may have kept me safe, but now only cause me suffering and pain. This, too, needs constant attention, or else the weeds will just spring up again and choke up any new plants that are trying to take root. Here are some journaling prompts, or just questions that might help you with your gardening project. If you have access to therapy, you might already be doing these things. In that case, great, good job, keep going. For those out there that do not currently have access to therapy, I would highly suggest this book, How to Be Your Own Therapist by Owen O'Kane. He outlines this process of unpacking your life beautifully. What new seeds do you wish to grow? These plans could be anything. It could be confidence, it could be self-trust, healthy relationships, you name it. What do these new plans need in order to flourish? I still notice, and I'm sure I will continue doing so for many, many years to come, that there's certain weeds that keep popping up. I am, however, getting better at catching them in their early stages when they start fighting the other plants that I'm trying to grow for space, for oxygen, for nutrients, and they show up as nagging, fear-based recurring thoughts. I then make it a conscious effort to sit down with myself and confirm the kind of garden that I do wish to grow. Does this plant that is asking for my attention belong here? If no, I make sure to thank the little weed for asking me for assistance to fill my garden. I no longer need you. I know you are here because you kindly covered the earth, kept it safe throughout the changing seasons for these past few years of my life, but now you are taking up space that I would rather give to something else. You are hurting these other beautiful plants that are trying to grow. You are hurting me, and I no longer wish to tolerate and allow this harm. I then pluck it out of the earth and put a little extra tender love and care into the plants that I do wish to grow. I would want to be confident. I, as a confident person, proudly and openly declare myself, and I want to grow my self-trust. What do I need to do to work on that self-trust? I need to put myself in situations where I can prove to myself that I can be trusted. I show up for myself when I say that I would. I get up early, I do that workout, I do my daily prescribed medicine, and I make sure to communicate my boundaries clearly and that they are respected. All of this builds self-trust. The water and sun to my new little plant. And soon enough, the little seedlings will sprout. I hope you can take something from these exercises that help you feel supported on your journey. Let me know if you try it out. Maybe share your safe space with people in the comments. I would sure like to see what you're thinking of. And good news is, just like our bodies, this home, this inner safe space is with you wherever you go. You can feel at home anywhere that you are, as long as you feel at home within yourself. Why shouldn't you yourself be the most reliable source of your sense of calm and safety and love?